Hello, I am the comedy hag, here to share with you a story. Today's story is titled Victoria and Wilbur. Meet Victoria. Victoria's bloody mess of a period arrived when she was 12. Victoria was in shock. She feared that she was being punished for using her fingers to tickle her tinkle thing. Eventually, she was forced to tell her mother. After first providing the proper bloody mess equipment, Victoria's mother summoned her own mother. These two women put their heads together to decide upon the most important information Victoria should have to protect her in her new condition. The first thing they did was go to the natural science section of their local library. The two women checked out 9 collections of bird photographs. Victoria was told to memorize from the illustrations in these books the physical characteristics of the storks. Her first lesson in safety was that in the presence of a stork, she must always keep her knees together. That was her mother's contribution. The thing is, Victoria, babies are delivered by storks. Once you begin to menstruate, that scent can be picked up by any stork anywhere in the world. If you sit all spread out, you can easily get pregnant. That was her grandmother's contribution. If you have a sex thought, Victoria, and a nearby human male is having a sex thought at the same time, you can get pregnant. The components of pregnancy float through the air and find their way together through magnetism. That was her mother's contribution. Victoria was given a gold talisman in the shape of a miniature broom to wear about her neck. The talisman will protect you against the sex thoughts of the human males. Their sex thoughts always involve a log-like figure that they carry in their trousers. The talisman will detect any energy released by the undoing of a male's trouser zipper. If the log-like figure escapes, the talisman's energy will sweep it right back in again. That was her grandmother's contribution. If you have a health class at school, Victoria, you may be taught that sex thoughts are normal and a natural part of something called puberty. But those books are written by members of an errant religious sect called science. As a matter of fact, the word sin is derived from the word scientist. That was her mother's contribution. And the people said, Amen. Meet Wilbur. When Wilbur was a little boy, he loved birds. From the time he was 2, he could imitate any bird song. Now, all grown up, one afternoon Wilbur was watching a nature documentary about the 5-feet-tall shoebill stork. He was re-experiencing the joy of his childhood love of birds. Perhaps because Wilbur was also 5 feet tall, he somehow identified with the shoebill stork. He remembered hearing of a man in Japan, a man named Toko, who by wearing a specially designed suit became a collie dog. Wilbur decided that in the same way he would become a shoebill stork. First, he practiced walking like a stork. When he believed he had the gait perfected, he moved on to the practice of the shoebill stork's signature call, the sound of a machine gun. The nature documentary said that a shoebill stork feeds primarily on fish. Before collapsing on its prey, it stands motionless in the water for long periods of time. Then the bird flops forward and plunges down its enormous bill to engulf the chosen fish. In imitation of the shoebill stork, Wilbur decided to eat nothing but fish. Committed to a realistic imitation of the stork's feeding style, Wilbur placed the fish in the kitchen sink. He filled the sink with water to the top. Standing perfectly still, Wilbur first counted to 1,000, then dove headfirst toward the fish. On this first attempt, he hit his head on the faucet and knocked himself out cold. After that failure, he decided he would still eat only fish, but with a knife and a fork. When Wilbur was convinced that he was sufficiently committed to becoming a shoebill stork, he gathered up his life savings and made arrangements to imitate Toko, who with a specially designed suit became a collie dog. Wilbur, too, would obtain a specially designed suit and become a shoebill stork. The first time Wilbur wore his shoebill stork outfit to a park where there was a beautiful lake, he was approached by the police. When questioned, he assured them that he was not some nutjob who believed himself to be a stork. He wore the outfit only for fun. They left him alone, but they kept an eye on him. Wilbur usually spent his time leaning motionless against a tree and staring down into the water of the lake. Sometimes, if the police were not around, he would practice the shoebill's characteristic call, the sound of a machine gun. And the people said, Amen. The juncture. All grown up, Victoria regularly left work to spend her lunch hour at the same park as did Wilbur. From her favorite bench, she could look out over the lake. The first time Victoria saw Wilbur in his stork costume, she immediately recognized the danger. Victoria clutched her golden broom and pulled her knees together. And the people said, Amen.